So, Bucks versus the Heat, a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference semifinals where the Heat actually won in 5 games. They absolutely dominated that series. Could be a little bit different this time around. First round matchup, 2 of the best 4 teams in the East, in my opinion, facing off in the first round, with the Bucks being the 3 seed and the Heat being the 6 seed. The Bucks this season were 46-26, whereas the Heat were 40-32. Though the Heat did deal with a lot of injuries. The Bucks had a few injuries, mainly Drew Holiday, Giannis for a few games, and they dealt with some protocol, as has every team this season. But the Bucks were 6th in offense, 10th in defense, and 2nd in pace this season, whereas the Heat were 18th in offense, 7th in defense, and 29th in pace. Obviously, the Heat are a better team than that, but as I mentioned, the injuries and players missing games. So I think this is going to be a really interesting series, especially from what we know from last year, how the teams will adjust. I think the circumstances are definitely different in terms of it not being in a bubble and it being in the first round, and also the Bucks having Drew Holiday this time. But if we talk about the Bucks offense versus the Heat defense, let's start with that. Obviously, the first thing with the Bucks offense is Giannis, whether it be him just isolating at the top of the key or getting in transition or maybe posting up. We'll see who the Heat use to defend him, because if it's someone like Ariza or Iguodala or even Jimmy Butler, I think he can have success in the post. But if it's Bam, maybe he wants to draw him further out and not battle inside as much. And then there's obviously Giannis as a screener. I feel like the Bucks have been doing that more this season. I really like it when they do it. It opens up so many more options. As a pick and roll, whether it be with Drew Holiday as the ball handler or Chris Middleton, I think those always work out for the Bucks. I think they can cause a bit of trouble for the Heat, especially if it's not Jimmy and Bam. Because if they're going against Jimmy and Bam, they can switch. They can play any type of defense. But let's say if it's going up against Duncan Robinson and Bam, or Duncan Robinson and Ariza, then that pick and roll can have a lot of success. And then, you got to get it to Giannis on the short roll, and he can find players. His playmaking has improved a lot from last season. And then there's also the Giannis driving kicks. If they have to collapse, if they get a mismatch, and they have to collapse on him, he can kick it out to shooters, whether it be DiVincenzo or Brook Lopez or PJ Tucker, whoever's on the court for the Bucks with Giannis. And then there's also Middleton, who I feel is a bit worse in the playoffs, but stepped up against the Heat last series, though, that was a bit of a weird series. But if he can get inside, get in the paint, get into the mid-range, and get some open looks, I feel he can have some success. I feel like the Heat have 2 elite defenders, Jimmy and Bam, whereas the Bucks have 3 good offensive players in Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. So whichever one of the 3 isn't being guarded by one of those 2 players, I think has to take advantage and has to take up some of the scoring load, whether it just be isolations or getting the ball around the elbow and getting to his mid-range or getting to the cup. I think Middleton can have some success if he's not being guarded by Jimmy or Bam. And then my other thing is Giannis at center. How much will they go to that to get more shooters around him? As I said, Giannis can be a mismatch if they can force a switch and get him guarded by someone who's a bit smaller, whether it be Dragic, non-hero, Robinson, even Iguodala or Ariza. I think is a mismatch for Giannis. Then he can have some success, especially if he's playing at center and the court is spaced. And then obviously, just this goes without saying, but the Bucks role players hitting their threes. That's so much of the offense. The space and pace is very important. So DiVincenzo, PJ Tucker, Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, all those guys have to make their threes. That's very, very important. And then last thing is Drew versus Bledsoe. Obviously, Eric Bledsoe was terrible in the series last year. And how much of an upgrade will Drew Holiday be? I think it's going to be a big upgrade in terms of just the shooting threat, the defense, almost everything on the court. Drew Holiday has been very good this season. I think he'll continue to be very good in playoffs. So my questions are, who will Jimmy and Bam guard? And if I'm the Heat, I'm putting Bam on Giannis, I think, because I feel like anyone else is a mismatch. Yes, I would like Bam Adebayo to be more of a help defender, but I feel like, it's not gonna be good if they put someone else on him. And if he has to help, Giannis has improved his passing and can find the open shooters. And then Jimmy, I would personally put Jimmy on Drew Holiday and try and, stop his playmaking and what he can do, and then just let Middleton go against Ariza or Iguodala. That's what I would do if I was the Heat, but obviously that's just going to be the starting matchup. He's going to be willing to switch on to them. They're going to play some zone. They're going to change it up a bit, but that's what I would do if I was the Heat. Just Giannis attacking the weaker Heat defenders. I think that's where the Bucks can have a lot of success. Okay, if we talk about how the Heat can score on offense, what they really did well in last series was having Hero and Robinson get off ball and run around, and they had a lot of success with that. Especially with Bam, a big who can run handoffs, but also run fake handoffs and play make out of that. They had a lot of success with that, and it was mainly attacking Brook Lopez and the Bucks scheme. Because the Bucks were unwilling to switch, and that really hurt them. Like, they were going under a Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo handoff, and that's just not going to work. The Bucks have been switching a bit more this season, so hopefully they can adjust and change that a bit. Because if they just do what they did last year, they're going to lose, because it just doesn't work. You can't give great shooters open threes consistently. They're going to make you pay. And obviously Jimmy Butler taking over late, his isolations, pick and rolls, all that. He's going to have some success there, but who guards Jimmy Butler is interesting. There's obviously Giannis, who is certainly big enough. We saw what success AD had guarding Jimmy in last year's finals, but the Bucks have other options between Middleton and Drew Holiday. I feel Middleton probably size-wise matches up the best, but I really like Drew Holiday defensively, and I feel he's not going to get bullied by a bigger player. He's a very solid post defender, great on-ball defender too. So I would probably put Drew Holiday on him, but it depends on the matchup. If Jimmy is playing, if it's Jimmy, Bam, and 3 guards or 3 smaller players, then obviously you can't really do that. But if they're playing their stand-up lineup of 2 guards, then Jimmy, then like Ariza or Iggy, and Bam, then I think they can definitely afford to do that, the Bucks. And then Dragic pick and rolls with Bam. That's a big part of their offense, and they can have some success there. You would hope that between DiVincenzo and Connaughton, they can at least contain that, and then maybe Drew Holiday too. They can at least contain those pick and rolls, so they're not getting super killed. Obviously, you can't take away everything, because when you take away everything against a team as good as the Heat, you're really taking away nothing. So, we'll see what they prioritize. I would say, it's probably, I think you have to take away those those Robinson and Hero open threes. You just can't give them those. And then try and protect the paint too, and give up the mid-range. And obviously Jimmy Butler can have some success there, but it's not going to be as bad as what happened last year. And apart from that, Iguodala playing his 15 minutes a game, getting a couple assists, keeping the ball movement. The role players, Trevor Ariza, Robinson, Hero, Dragic, all hitting their threes. That's going to be very important to the Heat offense. So who will guard Jimmy and Bam? Yeah, as I said, I think I'd go Drew Holiday on Jimmy and Giannis on Bam, but I'd also be willing to switch, and they're going to have to do that. That's going to be very important, switching, especially, as I mentioned, with the Robinson and Hero threes. And then can Brook Lopez survive in this series? Because if you put him on Bam, they're going to have a lot of trouble, because Brook Lopez likes to hang back in the paint, and they're just going to run Bam, handing it off to Dragic or Robinson or Hero all day, and they're going to kill the Bucks. But if Brook Lopez comes too far out, then it's just not going to work out, because Bam is quick enough to get by him and get to the cup. So maybe you put Brook Lopez on Ariza or Iguodala and just hope he can survive there, and then you put Giannis on Bam. And then maybe also you just don't play Brook Lopez as much. I don't think that's the end of the world. I don't think this series really suits him, and I don't think he's one of their most. I don't think, like, as long as you have Holiday, Giannis, and Middleton out there, you have a lot of defensive versatility. You throw in maybe PJ Tucker, maybe Dante DiVincenzo, and I really like that lineup because it's more versatile defensively, and that's very important against the Heat. And then you're not really giving up much offensively because, I don't know how much Brook Lopez action you want to run on offense, but I'd be quite fine if it's just Giannis, Drew, and Middleton doing the majority of the things. And then the last thing is Eric Spoelstra versus Mike Budenholzer. Will Budenholzer just get out-coached and killed? Like, I don't want to see Giannis playing 30 minutes a game. He needs to be up closer to 40, at least 38. Same with Drew, same with Middleton. This is a hard series, and they shouldn't be taking it easy. And that was obviously a problem. The Bucks have a bit less depth this season, so hopefully he doesn't go to his bench as much. And then Eric Spoelstra, one of the best coaches in the NBA, he's gonna react, he's gonna game plan, and they're not gonna have any fear of the Miami Heat. So, we'll see if Budenholzer messes it up, or if he's willing to switch and he's willing to put Giannis at center, because that could be important. So I feel like there's more questions about the Bucks than the Heat in this series, but if I had to do a prediction, I think the Bucks are just the better team. The Heat, they haven't, they've been better recently, but they've had a tough season. They know who they are, and they're a very good team, but I think the Bucks are a little bit better. I think Drew Holiday is going to make a massive difference. I think hopefully playing Giannis more and playing him at center is also going to make a massive difference. So I'll go with the Bucks in 6. I could easily see the Heat winning this series if, it's a very similar series to last year, but I think the Bucks will get it done. But anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more NBA content, and I'll see you guys next time.